Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Nelson, you are watching Nature Nell, and if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for joining me on such a great day today. It's a very special day. It's the day that I was born many eons ago. Today is my birthday, and what better way to celebrate it than to show you guys around my beautiful greenhouses and everything that's in bloom. It's what's in bloom again for April. I want to show you guys right in the beginning of April what is blooming inside my greenhouses. I have some beautiful stuff that I want to share with you guys that I may have not shared in the last what's in bloom. I got a great response on it, so I decided, why not? Let's do another one. You guys seem to like it. I love filming it, so let's just throw in another little bonus. So without further ado, let's go look at some blooms. Come on, Morris. Let's go look at some blooms, Baba. All right, guys, let's start where we usually start, right in the beginning of my terrace. Now, I will have to try to remember what I showed you before. I don't want to like double up too much on certain things, but I will revisit some of them because they are in full bloom. Like this beauty here, my Cattleya schilleriana that I purchased last year in April at Crowell Smith. And this piece here is actually, I believe, one of Frank Smith's personal collection that he had. And sometimes he does take some of them out to make room for others. And, you know, as a collector, the way that he collects, he has many of the same. So sometimes he puts these beauties out, and that's when I go crazy because they really are beautiful orchids. Look at this. This is my very first one that I've ever purchased. It did come in this cork mount already. It was established on there. And this year it gave me 3 beautiful blooms. Now I will tell you this, if you guys buy one of these, anywhere you buy these, when you bring them home, the flower will die. The flower will not last more than a day or two. It is one of those orchids that's extremely sensitive to environmental change. So don't be disappointed if you bring it home with beautiful blooms and it basically just dies on you the next day. Because it did with me, and several people that bought it told me exactly the same thing. So if you do want one of these, you don't necessarily have to buy it in bloom. You can just buy it without the blooms and acclimate it to your environment in order for them to, let me see if I have so that way I always forget that I have the tags. Nope, I don't have the tag on this, so I'll have to tag this one, even though I know what it is, but I'll tag it anyways because I am tagging everything I have. So let's go down to this beauty here that was one of my few purchase at the Fairchild Tropical Botanical Gardens. They hold a fair every year, orchid fair, called Orchids in Bloom. And I bought this beauty sort of at the very last minute. I fell in love with it. These are called Black Comets. Now, it came with no tag, but this is what I'm saying. I am now tagging my own orchids. And you guys had asked me about my printer. Do you see that it's like a clear plastic? That plastic sticks on here. My hands are full of algae, sorry. I'm touching pots. It sticks to this like nothing I've seen before. I water these and it does not lift, it does not wither away. It prints on a clear plastic tape, and then you just put it on whatever type of spike tag that you want. Sometimes I use, let me see, I use these belt tags. See? This is one of the first ones I did, and look, nothing. It's not lifting. It's been watered. It's got rained on. And because I know you guys asked me, how strong is it? Does it hold well? It seems to be holding really well. And listen, if other nurseries like Brethren's use the same type of system and they are selling, in mass, and I've had some other orchids for many years and still the tags are perfect, then it has to work. Now let's revisit this one, only because it's such a special orchid. This is a Trichoglottis rosea. Now I do have to be very careful with these. A tag on this, I just don't know. It's up there, I just can't reach it. So what I'll do is I'll put it underneath. Any orchid that's way up there, I'm not gonna take down because it could risk getting damaged. But look at these flowers, how adorable. And I know some of you guys asked me about this. I got this from Smiley right when I started my channel. I believe I got this on the second day of my channel. The first day was when they were setting up at Fairchild 2 years ago for the orchid show. And the very first booth I believe that I stopped by was Smiley's, and I bought this beautiful, beautiful rosea. And it was kind of tiny when I got her. She was about just this big. And look at this. It's grown all that. And they love to be mounted on a piece of wood. They really respond well to that. Now, I did feature this before, but you know what? It is an FCC winner. It is a beauty. And I want to show you guys how long those flowers last. I think it's only dropped like 2 or 3 flowers. That's about it. But it is still going really, really strong. This I got at Smith. Cymbidium Geno's Gem Emerald Fire. This is one of their treasures over there. That's why I'm sure it's called Geno's Gem for a reason. And I got the Cymbidium from Smith last year, right around my birthday. Actually, I think it was my birthday. And again, it was at Fairchild Tropical Gardens. Guys, I didn't plan this out. It's just sort of in sequence right now. But I did get this at Fairchild Tropical Gardens. Hayden of Smith sold it to me. It was the only one he had left. And not only that, it's giving me new growth while it gave me a new spike. So that, my friend, tells me this plant is extremely, extremely happy and healthy and strong, because she's able to push out a spike and a new growth. Actually, 2 new growth. There's one here. There it is in the back. 2 new growth. And a spike. Since I've gotten this, it's given me 3 new growth. Here's the third. The first new growth was this one. Then I got this one, and now this one. And during all that, it gave me a spike. So she's a happy camper. And I was telling a viewer of mine, they wanted to know which was the best place to get flowers in orchids in a popka at a good price. And I'm like, look, I'm sorry. I always go to Smith because here's the proof in the pudding. It's a strong plant. Most of their plants, as this one and this one, are very strong, and they will bloom for you all year round. They're really, really strong plants. Now up here, I'm only going to briefly show this because I want to show you guys what a beautiful set of 4 spikes this is giving me. Now this one, I always say the name wrong. I love doing these wets and blooms because I discover who doesn't have a spike. Now this is, I think they call this, oh my God, I'm not even gonna try because I always get this one wrong. I think I call it a matrata. I don't think it's a matrata. So I am going to put the name underneath, and I will put a little inset of last year when it was blooming for me. So this year she's gonna be another little show. Now let's move on to my antelope dendrobiums that I have here. These here come from Udeli's. Now I purchased this about a month ago or maybe less, and I truly, truly love this flower. Everything about it. I love the creamy white with that ombre mustard color on the antelopes, and then that strong fuchsia in the center. It is absolutely a beautiful dendrobium. I got it at Udeli's Orchids, who seem to be specializing a lot in dendrobiums. At least lately they have a lot of them, like this one right behind it, which was my anniversary gift from them. Thank you so much for this. It's so beautiful. And I am in love with that labellum. Try to see. As I told you guys, Miami's always windy, and the proof is in my videos. Everything is always moving around. I just love the labellum on this. It has such a beautiful print. Here we go. Let's try this. I know these are pretty hard to film, but look at that, how gorgeous those tones. Very, very pretty. And it's a pretty large size dendrobium. You know, it has really nice spikes. All right, let's go into the floral room. There is a lot happening. So let's start with my left, because this was just opening in my last What's in Bloom. This is my Encyclia alata. It is native to Honduras. Honduras has beautiful, beautiful native orchids, and this is one of them. And every year that this Encyclia blooms for me, it seems to get bigger and bigger. It gave me all these spikes. Let me see if I can give you a better. There we go. Look at that. It's just a shower of flowers. I am totally in love with this flower. So pretty. And it does have a fragrance. It has sort of let me see, it's like a honey. Yeah, it's like, okay, here's what I smell. It's sort of like a honey scent, and then in the background there's a very light minty scent that it's just really, really cool. It's a really cool flower. Now right here I have a challenge for you guys, and the reason I call it a challenge is because my buddy Julian over at Crawlsmith, he's my dictionary. Whenever I'm in doubt with a flower, I send it to him, and the man could literally give me, come on, focus, buddy, focus. I'm gonna ask one of you out there, or several of you, to identify this Paphiopedilum. I bought it without a tag. I bought it at Ophi's, and I got this about 3 years ago, or maybe even more. It was right before the pandemic I bought it, and I don't have a tag. I asked Julian, and Julian actually told me, that one's a tough one. He says, it could be many things, because it looks like it has Rothschildianum with other crosses. So if you guys know what this is, please tell me, because I am tagging everything, and almost all my, as you can see here and here, are Paphiopedilum, so I have them almost all tagged. Now down here, let me see if I don't want to sit on a wet chair. This is a first time bloomer for me. Let me see if I put my hand. I think it only works when I put my hand. No, not even my hand. I swear to God, these phones. It's ridiculous. But anyway, this Encyclia was a gift from Lee's Orchid. Here's a name. Oh boy. Oh my God. All right, that is the name. And Lee Company, or Lee's Orchid from Hawaii, he gifted this to me. I believe it was a Tamiami show. Oh my God, this is gonna be so challenging. Come on, it's my birthday. You have to be nice to me. So anyways, the struggle is real, guys. It really is. This one reminds you a little bit of the Cordillera, or Cordillera. It has that same shape. And you know what? I haven't really smelled it yet. Let me see. Nope, has no fragrance. Not yet, because I guess it has to. In Encyclias, if you guys don't smell anything, wait for it to fully bloom and age a little bit. When they age, they tend to have a stronger fragrance. All right, now right here, I have another Crawlsmith special. This one is Vanda tessellata crossed with a Mimi Palmer. There it is. And this beauty gave me 2 spikes. She is an extremely heavy bloomer. She does bloom a lot all year round. It's not just seasonal. And right when the spikes start drying out, I always check and look because there's always something new coming out. So she is just like a conveyor belt of blooms. And the fragrance on this, oh, I love that fragrance. That's my favorite fragrance. It has that strong Mimi Palmer bergamot scent that is so prominent in a lot of Vandas or orchids in general. But Vandas mostly have that smell, like the Ben fragrance has that because it also has Mimi Palmer. Now, speaking of wonderful scents, look at this golden doubloon. Now, this golden doubloon, guys, was massively tall. I don't know if you guys remember it a while back. And I ended up I cut it right here and brought this piece that has the blooms. I brought it down because you see, it already gave me some beautiful roots. And that's what you want to do. When you want to cut a Vanda, you want to make sure it has new growth, new roots before you cut it because it will not survive. And so after I did that and I sprayed her with Banrot fungicide, she was pretty bad with fungus. I am so surprised how she came back so beautifully. I mean, she is pristine right now. And so happy she gave me the keikis, or the new growth, actually are now giving me new spikes. So if you look at her, she's starting to become a specimen. There's about 5 new growth. There's a brand new tiny one down here. There's one back there. This one, there's the other one over there. So it's like 5 in 1. And I got this at Banyang a while back. It was one of my first Vandas that I got from him. And I got to tell you, this flower is just a beautiful, beautiful flower. And they do last a very long time. As you can see, this is already, it's already going, but they do last a very long time. And it takes them a while for all of them to fall off. You'll get one dry flower and then the next one will dry the following week. So you could have this for many, many weeks blooming. This is how it starts. This is the actual color. Beautiful, beautiful color. And then it goes into this bright pumpkin orange color. And the fragrance, really nice. Now I'm gonna look down here, show you this down here, hold on. Because my poor grammatophyllum with the cold snap, it really took a big hit. This plant was so regal and so beautiful when I bought it. And unfortunately, between the hard rains we had and the cold snap, it lost several leaves. But with all that, look at him. And it's a he for me because he's so big and strong, muscular. I identify him as a he. But anyway, he has given me these beautiful spikes for the very first time. So when it's in full bloom, I will definitely share it with you. Now, I was just at a show and there was a nursery called Dan and Margie's. I don't feature them a lot because I don't see them often. I'm trying to get on a chair. I don't see them often, but I did buy this from them about a year ago. And it's such a great, great Vanda. Look at all this. And you guys know how I feel about cranberry and yellow, even though this is not, it's more yellow on the bottom, but it's more of a cream base on top. And it did give me 2 spikes. And I didn't have a name for this one, so I tagged it under Vanda Burgundy Spotted Cream Base Color. So that way I know what it is. But I don't know what the actual name. Now, do you see this right here? That's thrips. That's thrips. And I have gotten a couple of buds with thrips, but I've been hitting it with a new concoction that I mixed and I'm testing out. And what I'm mixing is my own 3-in-1. I'm mixing 7, orthene, and permatrol. And the reason I mix those three, oh, and I always like to add at least a teaspoon or 2 of palm olive soap, just so it delivers everything nicely. It creates sort of like a slide into everything and covers everything, almost like a catalyst to deliver the actual product. And I use those 3 because there's insecticide, there is miticide, I think it's how they call it, which is anything that is like arachnis, because insecticides sometimes don't kill arachnis, and if you have spider mites, it's not going to, the permatrol may not do anything, or the orthene. So I add those 3, and it gives me a sure guard that the buds will be cleaned out. And I have seen this season a little bit of thrips happening in my greenhouse, but nothing, chaotic. I'm still getting beautiful flowers like this one that I got at RF. Now I purchased this. You see, oh, the name is already wearing out. Here we go. I just realized this. Okay, so I don't know what this is because she is fairly new. I got her a couple of months ago, maybe 8-9 months ago. And I bought her on a limb at RF's. I think it was RF that I got this at. And if you guys know the name, let me know, because I have seen these a lot, and I love the fact that it's so white, and then right on the edge it has a light magenta halo that plays off the labellum color. And I can't wait for this one to get really big. I've seen these really big and like with multiple blooms, and it is like a bridal's bouquet. It is absolutely beautiful. Now down here, I'm going a little bit faster because there's a lot of blooms. Down here is what they call the Oktoberfest. Very similar to the regular nun's orchid, the Phaeus nun's orchid. The difference is this one faces up. So you get to appreciate that beautiful labellum that's completely cranberry. Now, these flowers have taken a hard hit due to the wind, and we've had some rain happening, so they kind of get a little bit, messed up. But it's still a beautiful piece. It smells so good. And this is where I keep most of my Phaeus. I have different colors of yellow. I have a purple one here that's really nice. And I have my Holy Ghost that, even though you guys may look at this and say, what happened to it? Well, I just found out through Josh from the Orchid Den that this is normal. So if you guys have a Holy Ghost flower or Alata, I'm forgetting the name, don't worry if the leaves fall out. That's normal. It's supposed to. As long as your bulbs are this healthy, you're still going to get flowers, and it's still alive. So don't throw it away. Now up here, I got this at Carl Smith. And this is very similar to the other Sunset Bangkok that I got, but it's in yellow. Here's the name. Just starting to wear out, so I should start making a new tag for this. But look how pretty it's shot straight up. You hardly ever see them do this. And she's been open for a while, so you start seeing some of the flowers already decaying. But it's a gorgeous, gorgeous little flower. And then right next to me is this beauty. In full bloom. I did show her before, but she was still half open. Half of the buds were not open. This is a combination of 2 spikes in one off of the one cane, not the cane, but the one area. I've never had a Vanda give me 2 spikes in one spot, but this one did. I was a little bit concerned that one of them would not make it or they would fight each other, but you know what? They played nice, and they're hugging each other, and it just gives me a beautiful bouquet. Now, this one is a Nepal Delight from Carl Smith, Carl's Thailand, and it won an award of merit. And it's just a gorgeous sized flower. Look at that. I love this color very, very much. It's so happy. And it's so big that I'm trying to pull back so you guys can get a better. Here, this might work better. Because the sun, look where the sun is. It's right above me. Not a good time to be filming now. But I have to do it because we're going to be going shopping and we're going to be doing pizza later on, and I don't want to miss out on my own birthday. Now this one I showcased recently. It was hanging up high. I finally brought her down here so I can appreciate her. And a viewer of mine confirmed that the tag it had was correct, so I redid a new tag. That is the correct and official name to this flower, or to this orchid. And look how pretty that is. I do love these brassica type of orchids. And there's so many different ones. There's red ones, cranberry ones, white ones, green ones. And this one I love because it reminds me of a leopard. And I've had her, this is one of my oldest orchids, believe it or not. It died on me, and then I did give up on it, and it gave me one new growth. And 3 years later, look at it. It's this size again. So I'm super, super, super proud of my efforts. Now let's go right here to this nice little, and I'll tell you why these two are together. For some reason, I keep thinking I don't own a Cole Marie Vanda, and I keep buying them when I see them. So this, I have 3. The other one is way up there. But these two decided to bloom at the same time this year. And what I love about Cole Maries is the rich color. It's a very rich purple, and some of them are so dark that they look black. Here, let me show you what that's the name, Vanda Cole Marie. And this one comes from Moats. I bought this about a year ago from their, not a year ago, a year ago at the Tamiami Orchid Show. And it was closing, and I think I paid $35 for this. It was the last one they had there, and Mrs. Moats herself sold it to me. So it's a special orchid. Now right next to it, I bought this one at Banyang's. Now look at the difference in color. You see how this one is slightly a lighter red? Banyang's is very deep red. So I don't mind having multiples of these because the colors, oh my God. And you guys, the fragrance is just beautiful. So here's Banyang's tag. And this is, I guess, their own cultivated orchid. So maybe that's why it has that stronger color. But they're just very beautiful. And I keep them here because when the wind hits, I get all that fragrance. Together with, this is a Tavivat that's also from Banyang's, is a Ascasenda Tavivat. And this one, guys, it's on his second spike. The first one's already gone. They do bloom for a long period, and the fragrance is fruit punch, full on fruit punch. The color represents the fragrance very well. So I decided to put these together only because they play off of each other really nice with the tones. And the fragrance is so nice that when the wind hits it, I get this nice, fragrant breeze. Now up here, I have this gorgeous, here, let me take this down so that way you guys can, I have to be careful when I move things and film because I'm holding there we go. I'm holding the phone in one hand, and then I have so many things that can pretty much get tied around it that I end up breaking blooms. The devil's always watching. You just have to be one step ahead of it. So right here, this is a cross of a Cattleya schilleriana and a Brassavola nodosa. This is such a beauty because it has the traditional shape of the Brassavola nodosa petals, but then that labellum of the schilleriana, especially the Cattleya schilleriana, that's the signature labellum. And it's when every time this one blooms, I get so happy because it's just such a regal flower. And it does last for quite a while. It's already on its second week and still looking good with a beautiful fragrance. There's a tag. Let me see if I can. In case you guys want to research that one, because I know a lot of you, when I see you at the shows, I find it so adorable that you guys show me your your list of orchids from my channel, that you're collecting the same things I do, and I understand why. You know, at first I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy, you know, that people want to, but I see why. It's because I'm showing you how I excuse me, how I care for them. And so you guys are following the instructions and applying it to your orchids. So that's pretty smart. Hold on, I need to clear my throat. I've been like this for so many weeks now with that. I don't know if you guys are feeling the same, and I think it's because of the wind. It's so windy and dusty that I'm not sick or anything, but I'm constantly clearing my throat. And it started when the whole wind started, so I'm blaming it on the wind. So anyways, I spoke to you guys about pyloric flowers. Now, pyloric means that the flower has mutated in a way that the labellum, which is the lip of the orchid, is being mimicked by the other two petals, creating what seems to be three lips or three labellums. So this is what they would consider a heavy pyloric. There's slightly pyloric, heavy pyloric, full pyloric, and heavy pyloric. Heavy means that all three look identical. And I got this at Santony. And this one has a really cute name. The name really represents the flower. Joy, Fairy Tale Joy. Such an adorable little fowl. And hold on, I don't want the wind to, there we go. And this time around, it's giving me 3 flowers. Now, they do shoot one, at least this one, just shoots one stem with maybe 1 or 2 flowers. And then it dies off, and then it'll shoot another stem. As you can see, here's the older one. So this is the second time it blooms in a couple of months. So it is a happy bloomer. It will give you several blooms throughout the year, especially through the spring and summer. So now here in this little tiny, beautiful Vanda hanging basket from Orchids 365 that Ms. Roxy gave me as a gift when I bought it. Well, I didn't buy. When I was gifted this beautiful Vanda from Tangerine Greens. Now, Tangerine Greens is a nursery in Thailand. And the owners are brothers and sister. I believe Tangerine or Kanjarin is the name of the sister. I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, guys, because I know they watch my channel. And the brothers call Suwat. And Suwat gifted me this last time that I was at the Tamiami Orchid Show. I interviewed them. If you guys have not seen that interview, please go back and watch it, because it was the second video from the Tamiami show where I showcased the flowers, the showpieces. And at the end, I interviewed him. Roxy introduced me to them. And she says, you have to see these people. They have beautiful stuff. Now, what makes everything so beautiful is that his uncle crosses the Vandas and makes these beautiful compacted Vandas that anyone can keep in their homes because they don't get that big. Look at that. And I did ask him, are your Vandas mostly compact? And he says, yes, they are. And I'm like, that is excellent, because not everyone has, a yard space or a big enough yard to maintain orchids, that get that big or that big. So by having something this tiny and compacted, you can still enjoy the beauty of a Vanda flower without taking up all that space. So she is now just starting to open, and this one is called a Suwanathum Sunshine, and Suwan is the name of his uncle. Bangkok Sunset crossed with Vanda MV tannins. So it does have Bangkok Sunset, which right up there. Here we go. I did feature this already. It was in freshly blooming. That's a Bangkok Sunset. So if you guys want to see that one featured, go to my previous What's in Bloom, where I show you my chandelier of Cattleyas, and I talked about that Bangkok Sunset. So this one has some of that mix, but I am in love with this flower. It's just like, now I want to collect a lot of their orchids. Now they won't be here in May for the Redland show. They were going to be here, but I just got word that they're not. So they will be in October at the Tamiami show. So once they get there, I am buying more. I am going to get a lot more from them, because the flower is beautiful, the quality of the orchid is beautiful, and the fact that it's compact, it's a winner for me. Now, this is one that I've been wanting for a very long time. I got this at Carl Smith, and this is their version of the Lamalata. Hold on. It's called Vanda Lamalata Okinawa. And this is another one that's been blooming for quite a while. But what I love is, as it gets older, it starts turning yellow. But yellow in color, not yellow because it's withering away. It's a beautiful yellow, creamy yellow color. I can tell because the flower is very firm. It's not wimpy. So that means that it's just a color changing orchid. And I've had this now for 3 weeks maybe. And look at that. Still in full bloom. Now on the other side, the JJ Uniques Orchids, I got this from them. This one is already going away, but some of the flowers are still. This also has Lamalata in it, and this is their award winner. They did win several awards from the AOS, and that's the name of it. And I just had to have it. When they had it on display at the OFI show with the ribbon that it won and everything, I'm like, oh my God, I know you're not selling this. Do you have these? So he had this one. And I took it, and immediately after I bought it, it gave me a spike. Now, I'm losing this leaf and most likely this one, again, due to the cold spell we had. It's very normal, guys. That tends to happen to Vandas a lot, but they bounce right back. All right, let me hurry up because we are on 37 minutes and we haven't even covered the other half. Let's just stop here real quick, because I'm sure you guys are like, what is that yellow one right there next to you? This is my Mochata Sunspot. This was a gift that Laz gave me about, I would say 4 years ago at the Fairchild Gardens. And look how big this orchid has gotten. He got her for me. She was probably not even 10 inches long. And look at that. And so what I've been doing is I've been putting new other Mocaras and other Renantheras on there. So I'm just gonna do like a spray of different colors for now. That's the plan for now. Doesn't mean it's gonna stay that way. I'm ever changing. Let me see if I have, and this, my beautiful dendrobium is now starting to wither away. It's so sad. But she did last a long time, and surprisingly enough, she lasted as you know, considering she came in a box from Hawaii, she lasted a good almost 2 weeks. So, and she was already in full bloom. So I am so happy. And the Nusmums, you know, they don't last as long as, like, let's say a Vanda would last. They're like Cattleyas almost, where, you know, they bloom, they look beautiful, but within 2, maybe 3 weeks, they're gone. At least here, I'm speaking for Miami. I don't know how it is in other places. Now here with my little buddy up there, keeping my buds clean. There he is. He's always around eating all the bugs and thrips that sit on. This one's also from Bangyang. Now I don't, let me see, I'm putting all my Vandas. Hold on. I'm sorry, buddy, I didn't mean to push you out of the way. Hold on. The struggle. I just pushed that poor lizard out of the way. It's a Bangyang fantasy, but I can't get to it. There we go. It wants to focus on my hand instead of the tag. Okay. All right, guys, you get it. Ben's fantasy. That's what it is. And this one, I'm taking them from under my tree, by the way, because the fungus that the trees release are destroying my Vanda leaves. So this one was horrible. And I mean, like this spot here was so black. And do you guys know that I sprayed this with Banrot and all the spots went away? Like, I had no idea I could do that. So it lost all these leaves. It kept on getting, see, like this. And lo and behold, I put her in here, sprayed everything with Banrot, and it's all coming back, just like this one. Everything is doing good. So if you guys have a really bad fungus case, just go with Banrot. It's a really good fungicide. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. It is a little pricey, but it'll last you a very long time. I use it hold on. Didn't realize I had the fan on. I use it every month. The first month I did 2 teaspoons. You can do 2 teaspoons, but 1 teaspoon is good enough. If it's a pretty bad case, then do 2 teaspoons. I'll do this like for 6 months, once every month, and then I'll switch to T-methyl SPC50. Now these two are very strong fungicides. There are these Captain Fungicide and Dithane, but they're not as strong as these. Now the reason I have all these is because plants get used to what you spray, and that goes all across the board with pesticide and fungicide. So you want to switch it up. So in 6 months of using this, then I'm going to use this, and maybe in between this I'll use some of this, right? Just for what do you call this, for preventative. So that is key when you're using fungicide. Don't just stick to one fungicide and think this is a cure-all forever. Your plant's going to get used to it and then it'll stop working. So use this for maybe 5 months, 6 months, and then switch to this, and then you can switch back to this. And the same goes with pesticide. So I wish I had my little sprayer to show you guys what I use. I think I have it here. It's very important. This is why I want to share this with you guys, because I know it helps you with your orchids. Here we go. I keep this, I think it's like a half gallon. It's about 50 ounces. And I like it because, see, you can spot spray, right? And you don't have to be spraying all over the place and causing so many fumes. And this one I had to spray this morning. It's starting to give me 2 buds. I have this separated because I don't know about this Vanda. It gives me a feeling that's something weird. So I'm keeping her here just to watch her and see. But I did spray her for thrips and for scales, because Cattleyas, I'm sorry, did I say Vanda? Cattleyas tend to get scales very easy. So anyways, I use that point sprayer because for me it's much better than spraying all over the greenhouse. I don't do that anymore. I don't think it's necessary. Now, we're already on 43 minutes, so I guess this is gonna be a 1 hour happy birthday special. All right, guys, this is my blooming tent, and we're gonna go right to it with this amazing orchid that just opened. This is a Tempenses. Now, do I have a tag for this? I probably don't. No. So I know I got this at Carl Smith, so I'm probably gonna have to get Julian to give me a name for this. See, every time I do a what's in bloom, I get to tag a bunch of things, because that's when I see that it doesn't have a tag. But this is a beauty. It smells delicious. It has a very light fragrance, but look how pretty those colors are. Now, I've been wanting a tessellata forever. I didn't realize I already had one. It's just that it wasn't doing too well, and once I moved it in here, look at that. Now up here is what they call Stuartiana. Hold on, let me grab the tag. I got this also at Crawlsmith. And look how beautiful that flower is. And it's just starting to open. So those buds are just beginning to show their pretty faces. Now the leaves took a beating. I don't know why. It was doing really good, but I have noticed on this one particular, every time it blooms, it drops the leaves and it stays on 2 leaves only. And then once the flowers go away, the leaves come back. So it's a very strange thing. I don't know if it's just that one in particular or that's their nature. Now, this one is now starting to fade some flowers. This is the beautiful Phalaenopsis schilleriana. It's my favorite species of the Phalaenopsis world. And she was kind enough to give me 3 spikes, even though she got a really big hit with that cold weather and 1 leaf got really damaged, which is not bad considering it could have been worse. And literally right after that cold snap, it just shot these beautiful spikes. So she is definitely my pride and joy. I've kept her going even though she's been through hell and back. Now I'm just going to give you an overview of my moth orchids, my Phalaenopsis, because there's just too many in bloom and I just can't focus on each one because we'll be here forever. But look, these are all new. These are ones that I had for years and are coming back. And some are new that were gifted to me or I purchased at MS Orchids. And this has been blooming now. This is, I would say, going on the 3rd month. And the flowers are as fresh as the first day they opened. I've been trying to tag this. I know that this is a tagged fowl. I just don't remember the name. It's giving me another big spike here. But she is a beautiful, I was going to say Vanda. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Vanda flowers. Beautiful Phalaenopsis. Now, anything else here? This one's on its way out. This has also Nodosa and Cattleya schilleriana in it. And guys, look, you see all these little ants traveling? Where are you guys? I know some of you have asked me in the past, are ants bad for your orchids? If that was the case, I wouldn't have any orchids. I would be on empty. No, it is not bad for your orchids. Now, it has been known that ants do carry thrips on their backs sometimes, and the thrips will just come off the backs and just hang out on the flower and just eat its life away. But it's not all the time. That's not very common. So the thing is, as a preventative, just spray with 7 on your buds, and that'll guarantee that your spikes won't get damaged. Now, when you do, guys, please make sure you shake the ants off. Don't spray it on the ants. Don't be mean. You know, just grab the spike, do this, let them fall off, or spray it with water first and then spray the 7. Don't kill the ants. You know, once it's on there, the ants are not going to touch it. They're going to go and then leave. So it's not going to kill the ants. You hear that? Too bad I wasn't outside. I would have liked to have shown you that. I'm very close to the, I'm very close to the Air Force Base. And sometimes they do practice flights and they fly right over my property. So you see the F-16s fly right over it, and it really is so impressive. That sound is just, it's a beautiful sound. I love it. Every time I hear it, I run out just to see them fly overhead. All right, guys, I think that is it. It is 49 minutes. I'm going to close this channel at the 1 hour. Oh, wait, hold on. My Moats Adorbs, which is going to come off this tree. It's been here for almost 2 years, and it just doesn't seem to want to be on this tree. Even though it blooms beautifully, it gave me a lot of beautiful flowers this year, but it doesn't seem to want to be on the tree. So I am going to put it on a mount. I'm going to wait for the blooms to come out, and then I'm going to put it on a nice little mount and hang it in my nursery. Now let me do an overview before. My Violetta is already going, which, remember, was way up there. Well, I cut her because she gave me new roots, but she is a beauty. And she too has been open for several weeks. And the fragrance on this is, oh, Mama, you smell so good. So these were the last ones to open, so they're actually fresher. This was the very first spike to open. So it's starting to go. And then, lastly but not leastly, my epidendrums. Now, excuse the mess. I cleaned this, and the following day, it looks just like that. So, I'm just gonna let this wind someday go away. So I don't have to be working so hard, because I really don't have the time or the energy to do this. And my red dragon is giving me 2 amazing massive spikes. I just sprayed it with my 3-in-1 that I told you guys I made, because I do not want these buds to suffer. So as a preventative, I sprayed it, and I'm hoping that that will keep it from getting any thrips. And an overall look at my wonderful garden. I feel like I'm always in a botanical garden when I'm here. This is my place of peace, my zen. And it's just, to me, it's just my peace. All right, guys, that is the end of the tour for today. Thank you so much for sticking by with me. If you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me on my birthday. And I can't wait to see what comes up in the next few blooms, because everything in there has spikes. I didn't want to show you everything because it would have been a very long video, but pretty much everything that's in there has a spike coming out or developing. There's some vandas in there that have 4, 5, 6 spikes. So it's going to be a crazy summer with beautiful blooms. I have been feeding every single week. I just did a bloom booster this week, so that means that for the next 3 weeks I will be feeding 20-20-20 with CalMag, and then on the 4th week I stop everything and I only feed bloom boosters. So that is my regimen to keep my place full of blooms. I know a lot of you have asked me. I've said it many times before, and I will say it again and again and again, so you guys can join this whole blooming fest, and in hopes that your collection could give you the joy and the colors and the blooms that mine is giving me for years that I've had them. So anyways, I was going to announce some shows, but you know what? Today is not about that. Today is about my birthday and my blooms. So we're gonna cut it short. I will be in Apopka though next week. I don't know if this video will come out by then. Hopefully it will, but I will be in Apopka at the Curlsmith Orchid Festival, or their spring open house. And that's gonna be a fantabulous 3 days. I'm gonna be there with some of my good friends. And we're meeting. We're already planning what we're gonna eat, what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go drinking at night. So it's gonna be more than just blooms. And I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. My name is Nelson. You've been watching Nature Nell. And remember to always keep it green. See you next time.